move, you can go ahead to respectfully move to suite 1, move to the press box. And if you want to stay for core, then you're going to stay on the main stage. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good one.
Hi, everyone. How are you? You good? All right. I'm super excited for this topic. This is one of the topics that I've been speaking about all year. To get this started, my name is Griffin. I have been working in fashion technology for 7 years, and I own a company called Your Own Creativity, which helps fashion brands and creatives learn how to leverage various technologies into their business. So this includes 3D design, artificial intelligence, analytics, and so much more. In addition to that, I am also the operations director of CF, which is a nonprofit to ensure that we're creating reports about African fashion and ensuring that that's going into the prominent universities. I've spoken for tons of companies such as Nike, Shopify, Black Girls Code, and fashion tech, creative tech, anything emerging technology and creative industries is my passion. So today, first we're going to start with an AI overview, then I'm going to deep dive into a few examples, and then the bread and butter of this conversation is really the framework. So you're going to leave with how can you implement various technologies into your business, your role, et cetera. There are tons of AI tools that you can use, but the implementation process is key. So before we get started, who's in the room? How many people have used ChatGPT before? You could just raise your hand. Okay, basically everybody. Okay, that's good. How many people would consider themselves a creative? Everybody, okay. How many people work in tech or want to work in tech? All right, so we have a lot of different people in the room. Love that. So with this presentation, we're going to touch on all of that. Do we have any fashion designers here? Okay. Any publicists, marketers? Okay, cool. So I'll make sure to tailor some of my examples for you. So at the end of this presentation, you're going to leave with 3 things. 1, you're going to understand what is AI and how you can use it. 2, you'll also identify tools that you can use within your business. And then, of course, that implementation strategy. So let's get started. Baseline, what is AI? I think everyone in this room is kind of familiar with the topic, but a simplified version, essentially it's a program that mimics the human's brain. So 1, it can understand patterns, you can use it to solve complex problems, et cetera. But what's more important is generative AI. This is what you're seeing with ChatGPT and other tools. So this is essentially a subset of AI that you can use to generate text, images, videos. And it's booming, especially when it comes to fashion, apparel, and luxury. McKinsey did a statement where it's up to 275 billion in the next 2 to 3 years, next 3 to 5 years, excuse me. Therefore, it's important that creatives truly understand how they can utilize AI and what roles AI may take. So today we're going to touch on these 2 common AI tools, and the reason why I chose these 2 is because within the creative field, these will probably be the most common, and when it comes to 2 to 3 years down the line, most of these applications will be useful in your careers as well. So I think everyone's familiar with ChatGPT. Essentially, it's a chat box where you can enter prompts, and it will generate information based off your prompt. But what a lot of people don't know, there are levels to it, right? So there's a free version, and then there's a premium version. With the premium version, you can actually have it generate images, which is newly released. So what I do for my clients, I actually have them utilize ChatGPT during the brainstorming process, and I'll show you why. In this example, I asked ChatGPT to develop a shoe with rhinestones that's dedicated to a Gen Z artist or Gen Z consumer in New York City. And then I also asked it to develop a product description, because you can create any product that you want, but you need the description in order to upload it to your website. So ChatGPT actually created that image and a product description associated with it. So there's a few pros and cons with that. 1, it's a great starting point, right? So if you're a person who doesn't know how to sketch, or you just have a few ideas and don't know where to get started, you can easily enter a prompt into ChatGPT to help you with the beginning stage of the creative process. Con, this isn't the prettiest shoe. Like, I wouldn't technically or personally produce it, but it is a great starting point so you can get your ideas out of, and then you can actually ask ChatGPT to iterate it multiple times until you get something that's similar to what you're looking for. Another pro is the product description. I think one of the key elements that's missing from creative, or that I keep hearing that's pretty hard, is developing descriptions, whether you're selling art, a brand, et cetera. So you can utilize ChatGPT to help you with the initial process and then edit it accordingly. So you can see in this product description, we have it where it's describing the shoe, but in my personal opinion, it's not really the best product description that I would put on my website. So with that, I would say refresh it a few times, or just take it as a foundation and edit it accordingly. In addition to that, there are more cons, right? So there are legal and ethical considerations. If you are starting a brand, a creative brand, and you want to utilize ChatGPT to enhance, let's say, your business plan, if you were to upload said business plan into ChatGPT, they now own it. One of the key elements that I want you to walk away with, any AI application you use is built upon databases. So all of the databases, sometimes it's open databases with data that you can just find online, but a lot of the time it's private databases that companies use when they sell your data. So with that being said, if you were uploading some of your personal business things that you want to pursue into ChatGPT, they now have that. So when they are generating more prompts, who knows, maybe if someone's asking for something that's similar to your brand, they may feed back into what you inputted. So it's very important, if it's anything that's private that you don't want people to know, do not upload that to ChatGPT, because we don't know where this is going to go. There are a few legal implications as well. So when you are copying and pasting directly from ChatGPT to your website, I highly recommend adding a note that says this is AI generated, only because we do not know what's going to happen later if there's a new rule, a legal rule that says you have to let people know. So I think it's very important to be transparent up front, especially during the creative process. Additionally, it's potential for bias. So my background is in analytics, so I'm always thinking, how are things affecting Black and brown people from the data set first? And when you look at ChatGPT, if you were to ask it, for example, create a black hair care brand, it's probably going to take the top hair care brands that you already see, but it might not provide the right information, because unfortunately, the information that's fed to it, they don't really consider us until after. So one of the things to know when you are searching for cultural relevant information utilizing any of the AI softwares, do additional research. Use research libraries. Don't utilize AI as the source of truth, especially for Black and brown people. A lot of my work, especially with African fashion, is to ensure that the databases have accurate depictions of fashion historically, and that comes from research papers. So if you do want to do any research, always check research databases as your final source. But overall, ChatGPT is a great way to start, because as you can see, it quickly generated that image for me in less than 10 seconds, and now I have something to work with. Next, we have Dream Studio. Dream Studio is actually one of my personal favorites, and a lot of creatives I know, they utilize it. Essentially, it's similar to ChatGPT, where you can enter the prompt, but you can also upload images, and it will develop these quality images that you see here. So one of the benefits of utilizing Dream Studio is it can develop an entire creative campaign for you. So in this image, you can see the background with the flowers, the various avatars. All of that is AI generated just with the use of a prompt and or image. So let's say you're working on a mood board, right? You're trying to figure out some designs for your house, or you want like a custom piece, right? And you created a mood board in Pinterest, copy that mood board into an image, upload it to Dream Studio, and ask it, hey, I want to generate this new couch utilizing what's in my mood board. You will have cool pieces and innovative pieces that you probably didn't think of. So these tools are used as a way, as a starting point to really get your innovation designs started, but I wouldn't say it's the end point. So for example, in this campaign, this is something that you could probably replicate in real life. Now imagine if you're trying to produce furniture and it's something that, let's say AI is producing a material that doesn't exist, right? So in that case, AI wouldn't be as useful if you're trying to physically create something. So there's two things to consider here. One, whenever you're utilizing an AI tool, identify if your end goal is to produce something physical or digital. If it's digital, the world is your oyster. You can put in any prompt, you utilize those images. If it's physical, make sure you understand that there are design limitations. So for example, if you're a fashion brand and you want to create an innovative design utilizing Dream Studio, and it has all of like these wires and metals that does not exist, then it's kind of pointless. So it's pretty important to ensure you're considering these things before utilizing these tools. In addition to Dream Studio creating avatars and set designs, it can also create designs for cities, so city mock-ups. So it's not limited to just creative designs, and that way you can use it for art, buildings, furniture, anything you can imagine, just enter the prompt and it will create it for you. Of course, there's pros and cons for everything. The pro, it's super innovative, it's easy and accessible, so if you don't have a specific design software or you don't know how to build things, you can enter the prompt and have that starting point. You can also use it for creative enhancements. So like I said, if you're uploading your mood board for inspiration, you can get new designs, or you can upload your designs and ask it to add like a little razzle-dazzle here or there. Remember, there are copyright concerns with these tools. So if you are uploading any of your designs, keep that in mind as well, because we don't know what's going to happen, because this will live in a database and they own it. And of course, there's quality limitations. So the quality may not be good when you're downloading some of the files, or let's say you're looking for a specific cartoon style, it may not come out the way you want. So these are a few limitations that there are for Dream Studio. So now that you kind of have a baseline of what's out there, my favorite part is doing use cases of how is AI used for a variety of industries. My favorite use case is Revolve. So Revolve has done a lot when it comes to AI as a whole. They have partnered with this agency called MetaMason to develop this AI-generated campaign. So everything you see here, the models, the clothes, the background, it's all created with AI. And this campaign was so popular that they actually bought a billboard in LA just to promote it. What's really unique about Revolve here is not only did they produce the designs with AI, they actually produced the design with AI, they actually manufactured it. So users were able to actually purchase it online. The benefits here is if you are starting a fashion brand and you don't have the startup capital, right, to start, but you have design ideas, you can produce these images with AI, put it on a website, put a price tag on it, and just tell your customers it's for pre-order. That way, you will know which item is in demand, and you can have the revenue generated to produce that item. When Revolve did that, almost all of the AI-generated designs sold out. The reason that it sold out was, one, a lot of the designs were unique. The marketing was tailored to their specific audience, so they didn't tailor the audience to, like, they didn't have the billboard in Ohio. They had it in LA, where there's, people into fashion and tech. So they made sure that the campaign was in the right space. But then they also made sure that they were sending this out to their email list. They made it clear on the listing that it was for pre-order, so no one was like, where will I get this item, like in the next week? They know it would take a while. So one of the main benefits from this campaign specifically is, one, it's a limited edition campaign, so customers had more urgency to purchase it, but then you can also have it as pre-order from the business side, so you can raise that capital. In addition to that, the companies that were utilizing the AI were able to see and test the limits of what's out there. So you can see the various models there. You can see how you can recreate models of different sizes. Unfortunately, Revolve just used the same type of models that we see in real life. But with AI, you can generate models of various sizes. So if that is something you want to implement with your campaign, you can. Now, how does this benefit creatives? If you are a creative director and your job is to develop mood boards, or it's just hard for you to come up with new concepts, you can use AI to visualize those concepts and pitch it to your team. For models, let's say you're looking for a new look, you want a new hairstyle, you can put in different hairstyles that you're considering into AI and see if that's something that you can actually produce. In addition to that, if you're a fashion designer or a production set designer, if you're looking for just some new inspo, this entire set design was generated with AI. So imagine if you're a set designer wanting to do something super innovative, you can utilize it to pitch these larger projects to different organizations. Now, social media managers, this is going to be key. One, with social media managers, understanding how to reach your audience via text and image is essential. Utilizing AI to, one, develop captions that's going to reach your audience, but also be picked up by the system so it's categorized correctly. So that's what Revolve did very well. Their descriptions were capturing their audience from the text. Their images were captivating enough. So it's not just looking at the visuals, it's also looking at the SEO and how people are going to find it. So utilizing AI specifically for creating captions, creating email lists, creating these visuals are going to be super essential within the process. Another one of my favorites is Snipes. So Snipes is a sneaker clothing store, online retailer, and essentially they use these AI copyright tools to generate their product descriptions. So this is important because if you are a retailer or work for a retailer, you know for each item on the site, you have to develop a custom product description. How many times have you searched for like a brown dress or just any item on a website and you couldn't find it or you didn't like the options? You could raise your hand if, yeah, okay. So the reason why you couldn't find it is because the products typically aren't tagged appropriately or the descriptions aren't tagged with like brown dress or brown item with the language you would use. When you are utilizing AI, it can actually make sure that you're creating these descriptions that fully talk about the product. And then you can customize the descriptions to the language of your audience. So let's say if you're looking for a pink dress, right? Or in like a shop like ASOS. You type in pink dress, and then you're like, wait, actually I want a pink long dress. With AI and using copy AI, it will make sure that the product description says pink long dress instead of just pink dress, so your customers can easily find your items. So the reason why Snipes integrated this copyright AI into their business is because they noticed that their copywriters were spending so much time on basic images where they could use it on other parts of their business. And imagine if you're writing 100 product descriptions each week manually, it's not going to be the best. So by utilizing these AI tools, they're able to quickly get the basics down pat and then edit it accordingly to make sure that it's in the customer's language. So one of the main benefits is, one, copywriting. If you are an editor, you can utilize this as a starting point. One thing for editors who are publishing on well-established publications, it's important to note, to tell your boss or whomever that you have used AI when generating any article. So if you do that, if you go the route of using like copyright, make sure that it's not against any of the rules or regulations in your job. That's very important because there are ways to capture and understand if you're using AI. In addition to that, within your business, let's say you have an email list or a newsletter that you want to send out. You can generate that newsletter with copy AI tools, and then you can also generate it with any new items as well. So like if you're in a pinch as a business or fashion brand and you just don't have as much time to like go through, send out a newsletter, create marketing materials, make sure you send the product descriptions to retailers that you're selling to, put that in AI, fix it up, you can do that in under 30 minutes versus having 2 to 3 weeks going through the process alone. So there are a few notable companies that I think is important to represent. So Netflix actually uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to generate the images that you see on your screen. So if you've ever gone to someone's Netflix profile and see like the same movie but different image, it's because Netflix analyzes your data and your customer profile to determine what image will be more appealing to you so you are more likely to click on that image. They do this with ads as well. So any marketing ads that you may see on Instagram, Facebook, Google, typically they use that same process, and AI tools are behind that. So this is why I keep stressing the importance of data. Your data is out there, and that's what's feeding a lot of these tools. So if you are using a tool that does not have the resources for what you're looking for, it's never going to work. So like I said, with ChatGPT, if you are looking for culturally relevant references, I would not recommend that as your only source because a lot of the databases does not include that. Next up, we have EA Sports. So have you ever wondered how those like NPC characters interact, but like how they're moving with you no matter if you do something different, the movement that you have, it's with AI typically. So this is actually not new. Gaming companies have been using AI to create these custom interactions for years. So that is something that I think is cool because when I was first getting started, I actually wanted to work in gaming. But if I would have known like AI was something integrated in it, I think I would have probably went towards that route a bit more. Another cool company is Wingstop. So how many people get upset when you're on the phone with a customer rep and like you just say you want to speak to a person and it's like a robot? Yeah, me too. Wingstop actually decided to integrate that into their business practice. So instead of being able to answer one call at a time, they actually created a virtual answer machine phone so they're able to answer multiple phone calls at a time. Why is this important? As a business owner, although we know everyone gets upset, they want to speak to a person, it's expensive, especially if you're starting out on your own. So utilizing AI to answer the phones for basic questions can be useful if you are just starting out. But of course, always having a person handy is the right way to go, because as you can see in the audience, everyone prefers to listen to a person instead of a robot. And lastly, Campbell's Soup. So Campbell's Soup is an example of a company that utilizes user data to create a product recommendation. So we constantly see companies utilizing customer data to create marketing campaigns, but instead, Campbell's Soup used it to create an entire new flavor to market directly to their customers. So this flavor was called Chunky Ghost Pepper Chicken Noodle Soup. I personally wouldn't try it, but their target customer will. One thing to note why all of these are important is because if you look to the left, the roles that are mentioned, this really does not just impact if you're a designer or if you're in production. This impacts anyone if you're a chef, graphic designers, animators, customer service reps. So AI is not just something that's just impacting the creative world or very specific niches. We're seeing this across all industries, and I think this is why it's so important for everyone to get a grasp and understanding of how they can implement it. Now, my favorite, the tech implementation framework. So there's 3 steps of how you can implement any of the tools into whatever you're working on. As a reminder, there are thousands of AI applications out there, but just because there is a robust amount does not mean that it will fit what your needs are. So this framework would help you understand and how to find the right AI tech partner or technology for your business or role. First, it starts out with identifying your personal goals and KPIs. Once you know your goals and KPIs, then you can find the right partner or tech software that you need. And lastly, it's the testing, right? You have to implement it into your business. You have to monitor to see if it's working and then iterate the process. So I'm gonna deep dive into each step. So first is identifying your objective, right? This is number 1, because if you don't know what your goals are, you're going to just be chasing any tool that's out there and implementing it to your business, and it might not be a fit. So I'm gonna go back to the black shoe example. Let's say I'm a fashion brand, and I want to create a black shoe design that has never been created before. The first thing that I'm gonna think of is, 1, what is my goal? Is my goal to either reach an audience in New York City, reach an audience in Oklahoma? These are important details to note because the audiences are completely different. So when you are looking for the designs, you can make sure you're tailoring it. Some questions you can ask is, what are your KPIs and benchmarks? So if I'm a designer, I'm thinking, I want to make the most money in specific areas, right? So you have that number. Another is, what are your business pain points? So let's say you already have your sketches, you're already on Shopify, you're just looking to clear up some more time with some tech tools. You're already set up. Now that you know that, you can look at technology that reaches those goals. So that's selecting the right AI technology and the partner. So if you are on Shopify and now you're just trying to reach a new audience in, let's say, Oklahoma, and you also want to save time writing product descriptions, right? This will help you understand which technology you need. So in that case, 1, you would look at technology such as Copy AI to help you with the product descriptions. There are so many API tools in Shopify that can help you understand what you are missing and your product recommendations to your audience that you can implement as well. So now that you know what those pain points are, you can find a technology that meets those pain points. When you are in this second stage, it's also important to know what is your budget. If you do not have the budget to hire a tech consulting company like mine, you can also find the technology for you. But if you want to go that route, you have to make sure you know what your goals are, because if your goal is to design a shoe, then you shouldn't be looking at technology that doesn't have anything to do with design. Next is implement, monitor, and iterate. If you are utilizing technology for the first time, it's not going to solve all of your problems right then and there. It's going to mess up. So you want to make sure when you're iterating anything new, you're doing it in small steps where it doesn't completely mess up your business. So for example, if you are on Shopify and you want to implement an AI chatbot, right, that provides product recommendations for your customer, you should still have product recommendations running through your newsletter and all of the other fields in addition to the new chatbots. So don't completely remove anything that you're working on that's already working for new technology, because when you're in a testing stage, it's going to fail, or your customers might not like it. So what if you transition into something completely new, such as the AI chatbots, where you're asking for recommendations, and then your customers don't use it? So it's very important to implement these in small steps and asking yourself these 3 questions on how you're going to monitor if it's successful or not. So, there we go. Okay, in summary, AI can definitely help improve your business in various ways. It should be used to enhance, not to replace, because it is not perfect. If there's anything that you walk away with, it's that, okay? And then it's critical to use to test AI before deployment. Make sure you're testing it in all different instances, because if you are using a ChatGPT API and ChatGPT shuts down, your business is messed up, you know? So it's very important to test it and it's not really rely solely on that technology. And then, most important, consult a lawyer. If you are integrating AI into your business practices, if you're selling things that you made with AI, make sure you consult a lawyer to make sure there's no liabilities on your end. My name is Griffin, and I'm your fashion technologist.